in MNCs. Big glamour, I'm working with IBM, I'm working with Microsoft. And we believe that when our MBA will go to Microsoft or IBM or Colgate, it will not make much difference to those companies. Those companies are already well established, they have their system, their organization, everything. One MBA coming there will not make much difference. But the management differences in our local company, this is where it will make a big difference. So we wanted our students to go and join local companies. And our students will not listen to us. Now before coming in, at the time of interview, we can dictate the term. But once they are in, now they will do what they want and we can't stop them. So it was clear that our MBAs will not go for local companies. And we believe it is the local companies which is going to make a difference. That is how 15 years ago we started a program where if we do it an MBA program for sons and daughters from business families, then obviously they'll go back to their business. They'll go back to their business and that's how management will get applied in their business. So we started our first program in '97. We had 16 people. Everybody was wondering that how it can be, our businesses are small, management is supposed to be for big, how will it work out? We also didn't know much. So what we did was, whatever we were teaching in MBA, we did some cut paste from there and put it in this program for family businesses. And as we went on going ahead, we learned a lot about family businesses. And as we went on learning, we realized that many of the things that the normal MBA does may not be required for family businesses, but there are many other things which family businesses need may not be provided in a normal MBA program. That's what we were doing, and we went on improving, modifying, and our program was going on. By the year 2003, 2004, when we were really settled, when we looked around, all our students coming out were doing fabulously well. Now, it is not that they were so brilliant students. It is not that they were really that sharp individuals. Hello? Yeah. So it's not that they were that sharp individuals or that brilliant students, but then they were doing fabulously well. And that showed another thing in the world. That there is a tremendous opportunities that have started taking place in last 1 decade. Previous years, there were never such opportunities. So our dean, who is 77-year-old, he tells to our students that he regrets being born that early. Because today the kind of things are available was unthinkable, and for small things, the kind of struggle that went on earlier, compared to that, think about email, and you type here in Germany and they reply in a minute and you are on thing. And what it was 20 years ago. You want to send something to Germany, it means air mail. It's not a normal mail. So you have to have a separate envelope. On that you post a ticket. It will reach 15 days to reach them. Then they will reply something, it will take 15 days to arrive. And in this period, to communicate itself was a big thing. Compared to that today. So the whole things are with fabulous opportunities. So on one hand, we started doing MBA program for some family members, and on the other hand, the environment went on changing. And we also saw what was happening in the world all over. And generally, we realized one thing, that for every economy, particularly I know so much about India, and I'll tell you a lot of examples about India. I'll tell about what is happening to family businesses in India. So if it doesn't, if something relates to you, fine. If it doesn't, you should not feel offended, because I'll be talking about family businesses in India. For example, if I say father and son fight, I don't know whether here they fight or not, but I'm referring to what happens in India. So that's what how we start. So when we started doing this program for family businesses, one of the things that we saw, that all across, it is much talked about. Of late there is a fashion to talk about family businesses. And when they talk about, what they talk about is only bashing family businesses. You all have no governance, and you all manipulate a lot, and you have 2 sets of accounts, and you all keep your family members You all have a lala culture, and you all are not having process and system, and you all are not going to survive. Very common for people to talk about family businesses like this, as if family businesses wanted their certification, whether we will survive or not. Sir, doctor, please tell us, we will survive or not. Nobody calls them, but still experts come in and start saying, there is an issue of governance, there is an issue of system process, this is something, these businesses are going to die, and they say, how much? This is an institute in Germany, in Switzerland, IMD, and there is a professor, and this is a slide. I attended a program there, and this is the slide that we saw. He picked up from all languages in the world quotations to say what? First generation start the business, second generation consolidates the business, and third generation destroys the business. Now, this seems to be repeatedly spoken again and again all over the world. And he picked up that from Hindi also, Haveli ki umar 60 saal. The first generation does not have anything, so they struggle and they build something. The next generation have seen the father doing so much struggle, so they continue. But third generation is born with a silver spoon and they have the wealth available, and then they will spoil it. This seems to be a quote flowing around all over the world as far as family businesses are concerned. I have a little fight with this argument. Because if this was true, then most of the family businesses should not be existing at all. Because after all, families, nobody can say that there are no third generation family businesses at all. In fact, family businesses are prospering. And they are doing extremely well. Many economies, big companies may have up and down, family businesses survive through. If countries can claim that they are doing well, largely the family businesses are doing well. So, if we look at it, the other slide, which the same professor mentioned, was, here is in other companies what happens. Families businesses do die, but so do other businesses. Excelling companies, in 1982 a book is written, In Search of Excellence, Tom Peters, very widely read, taught all over the B schools all over the world, that these are the practices which you should follow. Look at them. These are the companies which are excelling. This was 62 companies, give an example. 1992, after one decade, majority of them were underperforming. Some of them died, some of them very seriously sick, some of them in the problem. And one of the company which was in the most disastrous situation was IBM. IBM created corporate has ever made in history in 1 year. Highest loss in the world. That is what IBM did, which in 1982 was considered as something that is a role model, formed in somewhere 1930s till 1982. Not a single year their profit graphs were gone down. Constantly growing up from 1930 to 1982, was called as a role model all over the world, and by 1992 the losses were highest in the world. So it happened to IBM also. 1/3 of the Fortune list. Fortune is a magazine, American magazine, which makes out a list of top most respected companies, Fortune 500. 1/3 of the list of 1970 vanished by 1983. This is the other data about corporate life in most of the countries. So it is that when the environment changes, it affects business, be it family business, be it non-family business. Now, to go on focusing that only family businesses die, that's not true. Even big companies die. In fact, big companies have more higher chances of dying than small companies. Let's take the example of Kodak. Now Kodak as an individual invented the camera. He invented the film. He invented the whole thing, and Kodak became a global company. Now when digital photography came, majority of the products of Kodak has no market. And who brought digital technology? Kodak itself. So today Kodak has filed for Chapter 11 for bankruptcy in America because now they don't exist, their products don't exist. Very nominal, very few people will be using films today. Now if this can happen to big companies, to small companies what will happen? If we are into one product and if that product dies, we will switch over to another product. And the classic case again is an Indian businessman called Sunil Mittal. He was into the business of cycle parts. थोड़ा सा capital था, cycle part बनाना चालू किया. फिर from there he went into the business of making capsules. वो भी ज़्यादा नहीं चला. He went into the business of importing diesel generating sets. Now that time the Japanese companies were selling this generating sets for industrial use, and India market was not much. But still they thought that something can be done, so they pushed it through him. He was appointed as an agent. And he realized at that time in Delhi, the power cut was very, very frequent, that these generating sets can be used at home also. This is a story of 1980s. Till then, generators using a home was not a concept in India. It was only inverter, where batteries are charged and then when power cut is there, you use the power. He started marketing that it can be used at home. And suddenly the market started growing up. Once the market started growing up, big Indian companies, they lobbied with the government and they took license to make generator in India, and to protect them, government banned import of generation sets. And Sunil Mittal became unemployed. Being unemployed, he went to Taiwan and was walking through some exhibition and he saw that push button telephones are there. At that time in India, we had that dialing instrument. So he brings the technology of push button and he starts assembling push button phones in India. And then he gets into telecom, and then in 2005 he is among the richest in India. Now this is something that is possible for family businesses. As you go on, wherever is the opportunity, you can switch. Kodak cannot switch. Unilever cannot switch. If there is a technology that is coming up, you know, they were talking about how to invention is done, and one of the example of invention took place like this. That in washing machine, you put clothes, you put water and detergent. And they were asking a question that what is the role of the detergent there? So they say that a particle of dust is attached with the particle of fabric. So the rotation of the water with detergent is to remove the particle of dust. So these scientists were exploring that in various fields of life, what are other ways of separating two attached particles? And they found out that there is another technology, is ultrasonic. So through ultrasonic waves also you can separate. Now, it is a story, I don't know how much because nobody is going to admit that. The story is that they have come with a washing machine where you put water and clothes. And that's it, ultrasonically water, clothes will be clean. No need for detergents. Now if there is no need for detergents, what will P&G and Lever do, whose large businesses depend on detergent? Now it makes sense for people with large stakes into industry like this to kill any such invention, because that would kill the total market of detergent. Because for them, whatever product they are, that is their life. But for family businesses, they can switch from one to another. So we have Aziz Premji, Wipro, you might have heard about the name, is an IT company. His person was into the business, his family business is oil. Sunflower seeds, they are extracting oil and packaging, refining and selling in the market, saying that it is good for heart. And he learns about that computer technology is coming up, he does some reading and he does some collaboration to start hardware manufacturing of computer. I was using computers in those days and we had not very high respect about his hardware. But that's fine, being into that business, and he gets opportunity of software business coming in. And in 90s was a period when software business started in India, and by now he is the richest person in India. Now this switching from oil business to hardware to software is something family businesses will be having. And that is the reason why business families or family businesses do better than others generally. So these are different statistics, different people say, all more or less we don't need to worry so much about the figure as much as about the content, that family businesses outperform. Here is another statistics, whichever graph is upper graph, that is the lighter color, these are family businesses, and the dark color is non-family. And as you see in France, family businesses perform better than non-family. In Germany, family businesses, of course, we have only selected the graph which suited us. So that is always a danger of using the graph. But the point is, at least there is a point that family businesses can perform, if not outperform. So if there is a tremendous amount of propaganda to say that family businesses are going to die and they are for doomsday and they all are mismanagers and all, here is to say that perhaps the story could be other way around. There are reasons why family businesses outperform. So I was discussing with one family person. This is my hobby. Wherever I get a business person, I go and start telling him, "Aapne business kaise start kiya?" And he was telling me, he is into the business, he is in Jaipur and they are manufacturing sarees. Father Lahore से आए थे, लाहौर नहीं मुल्तान से आए थे, पार्टीशन, रेफ्यूजी थे, हमारे पास में कुछ नहीं था, फिर उन्होंने जयपुर में दलाली का काम चालू किया, फिर एक छोटी सी दुकान करी और सारीज की रिटेल काम चालू। And that is how the shop was going on, and after some time we took it to bigger shop, and they are into the retail of saree. फिर मैं आया तो मैंने देखा ये काम मुझे जमता नहीं है, सबको भाभी जी, बहन जी, दीदी जी बोल के मस्का मारते हो, ये काम मेरे से नहीं होता। तो मैंने बोला मैं रिटेल नहीं करूंगा, मैं मैन्युफैक्चरिंग करूंगा। फादर बोलते हैं वो तो कभी आता नहीं, हम तो माल लेके बेचते हैं, जब हमें ऐसे ही दूध मिलता है तो घर में भैंस क्यों बांधनी? पूरी मेहनत करो, भैंस को रखो, साफ करो, खाना खिलाओ, ये करो वो करो, बाद में दूध मिलेगा, तो ऐसे ही दूध मिल रहा है अपने को, तो क्यों भैंस बांधनी? तो ये लड़के की समझ में नहीं आया, लेकिन वो तो बोलता है मैं मैन्युफैक्चरिंग करता हूँ, तो करो। एक दिन आया, थोड़ी सी फैक्ट्री डाली थी, कपड़ा लिया, कुछ किया, प्रोसेसिंग किया, घर पे आके सीधा सो गया। शाम को फादर आए, फादर को पूछा, आ गया लड़का? आ गया, सो गया। खाना खाया? नहीं खाया। नहीं खाया, ठीक है। गए उसके पास, पूछो क्या हुआ? नहीं, क्या हुआ? क्या लफड़ा हुआ? नुकसान हो गया। क्या हुआ? ऑर्गेन्जा कपड़ा लिया था प्रिंटिंग करने के लिए, वो प्रिंट की स्प्रेड हो गई, पूरा कपड़ा वेस्ट हो गया। कितना नुकसान हुआ? 1.5 लाख का नुकसान। ठीक है, 1.5 लाख का नुकसान हुआ। अभी आज तू खाना नहीं खाएगा तो कितना पैसा बचेगा? बोला 50 रुपया। तो अभी कितने दिन खाना नहीं खाएगा ये 1.5 लाख वसूल करने के? And he says that was a lesson that to lose money is part of life, and in business it happens, and we are not on the street, and if we get on the street we will come back. हमारे पास में कौन सी इतनी बड़ी पैसा? But the point is, I am very happy कि 1.5 लाख रुपए में तुमने सीख लिया. Obviously, now you are going to take care. Now you are going to do better. And he says that is how I learned risk-taking ability and also learning from the mistakes. Now this is the family business culture. आजकल के family business वाले ऐसा नहीं सोचते हैं. But the earlier family business people were very clear that the sons have to rough it out. हमारे यहाँ कम्युनिटी है, मारवाड़ी कम्युनिटी, वो ऐसे बोलते हैं अपने घर में चाहे 4 गाड़ी भी खड़ी हो, लड़का है स्कूल कॉलेज में पब्लिक बस से जाएगा, लड़की है she has to always move in car. That particular community comes with the thinking that only boys have to get into business. But if you have to get into business, you have to rough it out. You can't be handled with velvet handle, velvet touch. जरा भी गिरना नहीं चाहिए. गिरो और खड़े हो. मैं कुछ नहीं करूँगा. Now this spirit that comes into it, which people have gone through and then they take it to the next generation. That is the culture. Family businesses have values. वो हम लोग हमारे जो एम्प्लॉयज होते हैं सैलरी बहुत कम देते हैं. We can't afford. If we start giving them 15 lakh Indian rupees salary, then we will not be able to do business at all. तो हमारे यहाँ पे यूनिलीवर की एक ब्रांड है, सर्फ डिटर्जेंट की ब्रांड, और वो लोग बेचते हैं. उनके वेंडर्स है वो सब फैमिली बिजनेसेस हैं, उनके डिस्ट्रीब्यूटर्स है वो सब फैमिली बिजनेसेस हैं. वेंडर्स की ये लीवर वाले जाके कॉस्टिंग स्प्लिट कर देते हैं. आपको इतना पावर लगेगा, इतने आदमी लगेंगे, ये लगेंगे. कम से कम कॉस्ट में फिर उनको 3% ऐड करते हैं मार्जिन के लिए, इतने में आपको काम